He's an ALS patient. I think that's Lou Gehrig's disease, isn't it? ALS?
Yeah.
With complete paralysis. This is still
by
a
the
young...
way, Lou Gehrig, dick move. Why'd you make that disease?
Well, he was the luckiest man on the face of the earth, right?
He invented it.
This is a young guy. He's now 36. But he has been paralyzed for quite some time. He's in a bed. He became the first person known in his condition to use a brain implant to communicate. He's got late-stage ALS, and they put an implant in his brain that allows him to select letters. I still am blown away by this technology. When they talk about, this is part of what Elon Musk's, road show is about too, but just the technology that they can put an implant in your brain and you could think of something and it would manifest onto a screen.
Or something?
I guess. Just that those neurons would, how a thought...
How they can recognize it,
yeah. It's crazy. I mean, there was a great... It probably didn't hold up, but there was a great 80s movie with Clint Eastwood called Firefox. You ever see Firefox? He was a pilot that was stealing... it was the 80s, so the Russians... Everything old is new again. The Russians were our enemies in the 80s because of the Cold War. So all the bad guys in movies were Russians. But there was a movie called Firefox where he was an American pilot who was going to steal this Russian plane that was operated by your thoughts. But that's essentially what this is.
This guy that the article is about, he's completely full body paralysis. Can't speak, can't move arm. Okay.
He's just in it, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got late stage ALS, which if you've known anybody that has that,
I have not.
It's devastating. One of my mentor in comedy had that, and towards the end, it was just such a bummer. This guy that was so funny and so great with words and just would light up a room and could make anything into a joke, and just seeing him completely just disabled, it was such a bummer.
Well, his first comment was, "I would like to listen to the album by Tool very loud." So this guy's first comment is, "I would like to listen to some Tool, please."
So he can't emote either.
He can't. He just thinks.
So there are
and
upsides.
It comes out.
Well, I'm going to say, when they put the album on, it's not like he could smile.
I can't either, and I'm
that.
not paralyzed.
Yeah.
So, They said most patients die within 5 years of this diagnosis. When a person with ALS can no longer speak, they can use an eye-tracking camera to select letters, but he's been working with this team overseas on this brain implant.
They also have spine implants now that are helping people regain the ability to use their legs. So people that are paralyzed from the waist down are now being able to get these implants, and it's sending signals making their legs work again, which is
that's awesome.
Crazy.
They look like they're getting a piggyback ride from one of those Boston Dynamics box jumping robots, but they have an exoskeleton on that's walking them through a park or whatever.
Right. Well, and then there's even more advanced where it's just them, and they're learning to walk again, but it takes time.
Now, again,
it's insane.
This is technology in its infancy, and so it doesn't happen quickly. It said that he could form sentences at the rate of about 1 character per minute.
1 letter.
1 character per minute. So these sentences are taking a while.
Took a half hour for him to say, "I want to listen to Tool."
Yeah,
it's
but
one song.
Yeah, goulash soup and sweet pea soup. I would like to listen to the album by Tool, and I love my cool son.
Aww.
This guy's 36,
And then he's got a not cool son that's
Yeah.
Well, which is which, Dad?
No, they know.
They know who the not cool son
The
is.
one that already had the Tool album is the cool son, and the other one's just no Imagine Dragons for you, Dad?
You're not happy I'm a banker?
Yeah. So they blasted Fear Inoculum for him. And by the way, if you are not following Maynard Keenan on Instagram, I couldn't believe I wasn't. All the just dumb crap I follow, there's a handful of things that I, genuinely enjoy. For some reason, I wasn't following him. He's I Am the Briefcase on Instagram. Ever cryptic. But it's really funny because what he does is he basically posts videos of him doing things behind the stage while Danny Carey is playing one of his long extended drum solos. So it's Maynard putting on scrubs and playing Operation. It's him walking behind the drums and handing Danny Carey mid polyrhythms, crouching down and handing him a giant dildo to hit a cymbal with, or it's very funny. Just him, these Danny Carey solos are like 20 minutes long. I'm a drummer, and I don't like, I get bored
What's
by
his
drum
name?
solos. Maynard Keenan is the front man for
his Instagram
Tool.
name.
I Am the Briefcase is him on Instagram. But it's really funny. And listen, if you're a Tool fan, Adam Jones never developed a distinctive guitar style. He grabs from everywhere. So that's what makes all those like sonic palettes in Tool songs so wild and inventive. So they probably fire a lot of neurons. No wonder this guy wants to listen to Tool. It's not just for guys who like, metal wanking. Hey, Dean, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? Hey,
Oh.
I have a bizarre story. I worked with a guy that about 20 years ago, he was diagnosed with ALS, and we all pitched in and gave him some money. He couldn't work anymore. Well, here, he must have been in a room with somebody else and was misdiagnosed because the guy is still alive. I just saw him. He's working part-time at a store, and it's just strange. I think that maybe the person next to him had it, but he was diagnosed with it, so the other person must have passed away from it, and he's still alive. It's just a bizarre thing that happened.
I think your friend was just scamming you guys for money.
I don't know. It was crazy.
How would he have heard someone else's diagnosis and then thought it applied to him?
No, he was in a room with somebody else, and he was diagnosed with that, but he's still alive, and I'm thinking maybe somehow their charts got switched.
Oh, I
and
see.
the other person had it.
They told him he had ALS.
Right, yeah. But I just saw him recently, and he's still alive, and that was like 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I didn't think you lasted that long, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't either. He's still getting around, but I guess he didn't have it.
Well, let me ask you this, Dean. Is he a Tool fan?
I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. There's Dean out there in Eastlake. He's not into Tool, but he's a big Black Oak, Arkansas fan. That's all right, too. The old school Tommy Aldridge. Alan Cox Show After Hours line. For anybody who wants to call, you can drop us a message anytime you like. It's 216-986-8903.
I heard everybody talking about the Browns signing the quarterback, DeShaun Watson, and how he was never convicted of anything. But I proposed the question of, would you let an accused pedophile babysit your children if they've never been convicted? Gene from Parma.
Gene. Boy, he ratcheted that up. Yeah, there's a lot of false equivalencies. People are really bobbing for apples with this DeShaun Watson thing, Now, nobody in their right mind would let an accused, but I see what you're trying to do, but it's not,
Watching a football game doesn't equate watching
Right.
my kids.
Right.
Well, it doesn't even have to go that far. I mean, there's a difference between an individual who could hurt your child and somebody who they want to make the face of a professional multi-billion-dollar organization. But, a lot of people, again, there are a whole lot of different perspectives on it or whatever. I was just listening. We were running the sports update or whatever, and they said that there's another grand jury that's going to look at some stuff on DeShaun Watson. So he is in no way out of the woods yet.
Right.
I just don't. Go ahead, Mary.
I was just going to say, Bill said that yesterday. We were in the office and he asked me, he's like, so, because I was like, I don't know where I stand. I haven't made a decision if I'm going to support the Browns or not. And Bill was like, well, what would it take for you to make that decision? And I explained to him, and it was kind of the first time I said it out loud, where I was like, I know how I feel, and I'm sure there's a lot of other Browns fans that are feeling this way, where it's like, I'm trying to tiptoe around and find a way to still cheer for the Browns, but not root for the quarterback.
But you can, though.
You can't. But you can't.
But you can.
He's in charge of every play. He's not a tight end. He's not
There's
a lineman.
plenty of people that, just like when LeBron left, they were saying, I'm a fan of LeBron, not a fan of the Lakers. It's the same thing. You could
But
be
it's not.
You could
But
be a
it's not
fan of the
same
Browns.
But it's different.
He's the guy. He's the
What's different is
guy.
the reason
Yeah,
that
the
people would
reason.
have
Right.
a hard time.
But I understand.
supporting
But
him.
the Browns is still an economy that is in this city. You can root
What's
for.
the economy got to? This is not
It is, though.
It's not. No, what you are saying is correct, but the argument being made here has nothing to do with economics.
You can't. It's very difficult to cheer for a team without cheering for the quarterback. The quarterback is the guy making the plays.
He's the face of the team.
He's the one in charge of throwing the touchdown.
Yeah.
So I can't be excited about a touchdown thrown by this guy. So it's like I want to still support the Browns. And what I'm trying to figure out is how to do that without supporting DeShaun Watson. And you can't. You can't do it.
Also, I want to reiterate, I'm not going to cheer for the Browns. I don't mind if other people do. I understand if you do. But I had so many people be like, I sent you one of the things, but there was a bunch of them where someone's like, you're worth nothing because you don't cheer for the Browns anymore.
Yeah, again, that's an unhealthy attachment to sports.
You do what you got to do. Don't let me influence it. I'm just telling you my reasoning, and that's how I see things. Again, I'm not going to hold it against anybody if they want to still cheer for the Browns. I'm just saying I'm not going to do it.
But what I'm saying
I'm not trying to take like a higher ground or say like I'm better than anything. I'm just saying it makes me feel gross.
Oh, okay, well, what about this scenario? You work for the Browns organization. You don't own anything. You're just like a salesperson.
Again,
but listen,
go do it.
But I'm saying, how would you feel in that scenario? Would you say, oh, I have to quit now because I don't approve of what the heads are doing, and the person they have in place that I have to now sell for?
But you're posing this as like a do or die situation, and it's not.
Not
it's
for us.
Just even in his scenario, I'm sure if anyone working for the Browns organization, the front office, people who are not in those decision-making capacities, you can sleep fine at night. There's no reason you shouldn't, right? It's still your job. You work. Nobody's going to maybe one or two people, but nobody's going to walk out in protest because A, it's not going to do anything, and B, I
might not do it in protest, but I might look for something else, and if that comes across,
might update
I
your
would.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, but there's always going to be companies that you have an opportunity to work with or work for that don't approve of it, but you got to make your living. So again, I'm not saying those people have to make that choice. Any of the players, Nick Chubb, I think, is a great guy. I want the best for him. I don't expect him to be like, well, I'm not going to take the ball from DeShaun Watson. He's got to do what he's got to do.
got a job.
Nick Chubb! Hasta la vista, baby! Nick Chubb! Touchdown!
He is still responsible for the touchdowns.
Right. Yes, and
no matter who's throwing them to him.
And I'm
cheer
just
for the
saying,
receivers.
I'm not going to when I look at the situation, I go, I don't think football is that important to me that I will make this decision.
Here's what I would
cheer
say
for them. So it's and again, if you want to, go ahead. For me personally, doesn't feel right.
Here's what I would say, and this might seem distasteful to people locally, but consult a Pittsburgh Steeler fan.
Seriously.
And ask them how
do you do this?
ask them how they were able to compartmentalize over the years, because there were plenty of Steelers fans who did not like Ben Roethlisberger. But he was doing what they hired him to do. And fans being mad is not going to make, people are like, we demand that the team. It's so funny. There's still people pissing and moaning about the Indians' name change. I will not. Somebody posted a message I think I saw on our page or somebody else's page. I'm not going to go to one game until they realize they screwed up and changed the name back.
Not going to happen.
Oh, are you, Dave? You're not going to go to any games.
They don't care.
They don't care. And why do you, by the way? Cool. Don't go to any games. Nice story. But, it's going to be a very interesting season. Because what you don't want to happen is for these guys to have shot their wad prematurely. Along the way, at any time, another grand jury can pop up. Mid-season, the grand jury can pop up and go, well, we got to look at something else now. So it's like that organization is going to be hoping the other shoe doesn't drop at any given time. And you don't want to have committed that much. Again, these are not decisions that are made willy-nilly, but you don't want to be an organization that has committed that many financial resources to a guy who maybe might not,
be in the clear.
But it's a personal decision. The people, because I got those messages about you too. Tell Bill,
Again,
I don't think you're really equating what this is what one guy sent me. okay, Bill had sex with a hooker in the Philippines. I go,
I didn't have sex with a hooker.
I don't know anything about
Not
that.
in the Philippines. I mean,
Did you have sex with a girl in the Philippines?
but consensual. Like, I don't know what.
That's right.
Like, what like why
this is not about sex.
Not
a puritanical
they don't
situation.
Understand the consensual part of this. Have all the consensual sex you want. Once it's not consensual, that's when it's a problem. And that's what he's accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment. Not having sex with a hooker. Have sex with all the hookers you want. That's consensual. Oh, God. People make me insane sometimes.
Well, Bill, just stop banging hookers.
I pretty much have.
And then your opinions will be valid.
You have a 0 IQ, Bill Squire, effing 0. This is a text. The way you guys are treating
This
him...
isn't how you're saying it?
No.
I have 0 IQ?
Effing 0.
Effing 0. I'm nailing it.
The way you guys...
For someone with 0 IQ, I'm doing pretty good, I think.
The way you guys are treating him, he better be guilty, because if not, all of you should lose your jobs, because I'm going to file an accusation against all of you. Well, get 21 of your friends, and you'll be a little bit closer to where he's sitting.
Again, I didn't even say he should lose his job. All I said is I'm not cheering for him.
Right.
And it's the team that he's on.
And by the way, we don't have a new hot take on this. Yeah. We're saying the same thing everybody else is saying.
Like, I don't know why people are jumping to that. Like, I didn't say he shouldn't be allowed to play or anything like that. I just said I don't feel right cheering for him.
Lakers fans had to deal with this with Kobe.
Mm-hmm. I talk about that on my podcast.
What's that podcast called?
The Bill Squire Show. Again, not saying he should lose his job. I'm just saying, for me, football's not important enough to cheer for the Browns this season or while DeShaun Watson's on the team.
You're saying
with
you
the information that I have
down.
right now.
Yeah, that's right. Which could set you up, depending on the length of his tenure, that could set you up for many years of being unable to root.
Which is fine.
Now, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Will you go to your B team? What's your B team?
I've thought about that, and I've
Dallas Cowboys.
Not the Cowboys. It'd probably be the Bills or the Lions.
The Bills, because that's his name.
That's my name, and also
close.
They're close, and I feel like a kinship with their fan base, and I have a lot of friends in Buffalo, so like I've always kind of kept an eye on them, and it's kind of the same thing with the Lions, where as a kid I was a huge Barry Sanders fan, so I've. And no one's going to accuse me of front running if I'm cheering for the Lions. Yeah.
And his name was
Martino, right? He's a comedian from Detroit. And we were having a conversation about that. And he's like, I'll give you a quick rundown. You got to say F the Fords a lot. You got to, you're going to be, you think you've been disappointed as a Browns fan. You don't quite know yet. And I get it. So no, not jumping on board another bandwagon yet. But for now, just don't feel like cheering for the Browns.
Sure.
And again, you can. So these people are saying I am saying DeShaun Watson shouldn't have. I'm just saying I don't like it, so I'm not going to support it.
You speak for you.
Right. So all these people, I don't know why they get so defensive about me saying I'm not going to cheer. You can cheer. I'm not going to.
Bill's not going to be behind you. Mm-hmm. He'll be back there pouring beer on your head. And I'll be back there drinking an RC.
Now, are these people now texting, oh, now that it's clarified, I have a new opinion of the situation, or are they still... No. No, they did not do that.
Let me take a break. 35192 if you want to text, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show.